Thank you very much, Joan. Good morning, everybody. God, there's a great crowd here, I have to say. It's fantastic. I was reflecting back a few moments ago, 10 years ago, we struggled to have 100 people in the room, but it really is a testament and a tribute to how much this industry has grown. And I keep on saying to all our key stakeholders, this is actually the most important industry across this island. You know, we employ more people than anybody else. Across the island, there's 325,000, 65,000 here in Northern Ireland. It's phenomenal. But it's great to be here again in Belfast. And what I'm going to do over the course of the next 15 or 20 minutes is really just to reflect, first of all, on 2019. Some amazing things happening in 2019 in tourism here in Northern Ireland. To look at our strategy from 2020 out 3 years to 2022. And then we're going to have a panel conversation with some industry leaders here to reflect on some of the observations we're making today. And you'll be able to visit our market teams after that to find out how you can get involved really in really, shaping the future of tourism here in Northern Ireland. So as I said, 2019, I think there's some amazing things have happened here, particularly the Open. I want to just say congratulations to John McGrillen, who led a lot of people, and also all the industry participants as well, for making, really, probably for me, the pinnacle in what's happened so far in tourism in Northern Ireland over my career. But lots of things going on, and it's hard to squeeze everything, 365 days of hard work. But thanks to all the members of the industry, we've put together this 5-minute video which tries to capture all the things that are going on around the world with Tourism Ireland for Northern Ireland.
Yes, County Fermanagh is one of Ireland's most inland regions, but it's also a waterlover's paradise.
Next stop, Derry, Londonderry in Northern Ireland. If I'm being honest, I wanted to come here because of Derry Girls, the TV show, but it also has a fascinating history.
The Giant's Causeway, amazing.
Prima puntatina al St. George's Market che ci hanno detto essere molto carino. Come mercato sembra un po' il mercato di Spitalfields Brick Lane a Londra. C'è tutto, c'è cibo, abbigliamento.
Now, the world's oldest major golf tournament, the Open Championship, starts tomorrow, and it's making it's a really important return actually to Northern Ireland, back in Portrush, which will host the event for the first time in 68 years.
Very exciting for Northern Ireland then that the Open's there. When was the last time it was there?
I think it was 68 years ago.
For any visitors to this year's Open, the adventure starts as soon as you step off the plane.
Bienvenidos a Irlanda del Norte, territorio de Juego de Tronos.
It feels lovely to be back here tonight. We're all staying in the same hotel that we always stay in while we're shooting, so it feels like a nice reunion. It was amazing, the Antrim coast, all of it. It has some sort of majesty. I just love it up there. It's nice to be out on location in those incredible places.
So glad we're able to bring the premiere here and celebrate the show in the home that we made it.
Tourism Ireland is thrilled to be here today in the historic city of Bayeux to launch the exhibition of our Game of Thrones tapestry.
And if you've been hooked to the new Game of Thrones season, then the new exhibit at Bayeux might just be the thing. The Game of Thrones tapestry.
Et maintenant, il y a celle de Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, la série la plus célèbre, la plus regardée.
So Tourism Northern Ireland are here in London today with our colleagues from Tourism Ireland to launch our new brand, Northern Ireland, Embrace the Giant Spirit.
Delighted today to be launching Embrace the Giant Spirit, the new destination brand for Northern Ireland.
The consumer launch will include a comprehensive programme of promotions from advertising, digital, campaigns with our cooperative partners, social media and PR.
There's been an amazing renaissance in tourism in Northern Ireland in the last number of years, and we're aiming to double tourism targets over the next 10 years.
All right, so listen. Just again to say thanks to all the industry members. A huge amount of work goes into that, but I mean a lot of really good participation in projects overseas. So just to reflect quickly on visitor performance, I mean we don't have official stats that are up to date, but we've talked to some of the partners around the province. Titanic up 6%, Visit Derry occupancy levels of 72%, Belfast business up, Giant's Causeway slightly down. So a mixed picture overall, but obviously with a lot more room capacity, we are seeing occupancy rates down, but sales, room sales still up. The phenomenal figure I see there is actually Stena at the bottom there are actually carrying 75,000 Chinese passengers from Great Britain into Ireland, which is an amazing figure. And that is testament to the work that Stena have actually done in the Chinese market. They come out to our sales missions every year and they're building up relationships gradually, and the value of the British-Irish visa scheme paying dividends there as well. So well done to everybody. When the official figures are all done, we've talked to Oxford Economics, who are probably the leaders in the field. It's another record year, up 2% to 570 million spent by overseas tourists, supporting 65,000 jobs. So that's the likely outturn when the official figures are available next year. So moving on to the next 3 years, what does it hold in store? We're certainly heading into more choppy waters, and we certainly feel that growth certainly won't be as even as it has been over the last number of years. However, next year we're predicting growth in spend of 3% visitor numbers as well. But there are a number of factors that are impacting on our business abroad, and this is what we see on a day-to-day basis. The first of these is Brexit. Now, it's been talked about an awful lot, but we've had a Brexit task force in place in Great Britain for the last 3.5 years. We've carried out 5 waves of research on consumers in Great Britain, also in France, Germany, and the United States. I suppose the key finding the fact we're finding at the moment is that the uncertainty that's arising from Brexit is giving rise to consumers perhaps postponing their holidays to Ireland and Northern Ireland next year. And we're finding that in Germany and France, there's a Brexit uncertainty that we hadn't detected before. So we're going to be facing that again at the end of January. Competitiveness is always really important in our industry, and that's not just about the price, it's also about the quality of the welcome and the overall feeling of value for money, and it's something we have to keep to the forefront of our mind to keep our customer happy. The air access picture for the island of Ireland has seen its first decline this winter in 8 years. It's down 4%. That's because Norwegian Airlines have pulled their capacity out, not just in Belfast, but also Shannon, Dublin, Cork. We're also seeing Ryanair pull routes out of Belfast this winter. So Northern Ireland down 10%, Ireland down 4%. That is an issue for us. We need to have more direct air routes in here. I'm just back from a very short visit to China last week, to Hong Kong and Shanghai, and trade wars or potential trade wars between the US and China weighing heavily on Chinese minds and their sentiment in terms of outbound travel. And also you can just read the newspaper headlines about talks of economic slowdown. We're certainly picking that up in Germany, and it's certainly impacting on consumer sentiment over there. So they're the big 5 things that are keeping us awake at night, so to speak, in terms of which markets that we tackle in the coming years. That being said, we feel that, with ambition, with collaboration, and with some of the things I'm going to show you, there is the capacity to increase business to Northern Ireland by 15% over the next 3 years. That's quite an ambitious target, supported by a 13% increase in visitors. The reason there's a bit of a difference between the two figures is that we're targeting visitors that stay longer and spend more. So underpinning everything that we're going to do next year for Northern Ireland will be underpinned by Northern Ireland Embrace a Giant Spirit. And that's reflecting, obviously the giant spirit that created this place. And also, tourism is about, embracing spirit. It's about a journey of discovery, culture, heritage, and all the things that people are coming here to see and do. We worked with Tourism Northern Ireland on the research for this overseas, and we're delighted to be associated with it. And we launched it in World Travel Market, the biggest travel trade shows, or one of the biggest travel trade shows in London last month. And this is just a flavour of what it looked like. So just a small little snippet of what was going on in World Travel Market in November. Now, Embrace a Giant Spirit will be getting a lot of coverage around the globe over 2020. Too many examples to mention. Just three in particular. We'll launch it at Celtic Connections in Scotland in January. We'll launch it at our China sales mission, which is going out to Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou that's in February. And also ITB, one of the biggest travel trade shows in the world, which will be taking place in Germany in March. We'll also, for example, be wrapping Metro in Boston, New York, and Philadelphia, which will have a 1 million readership. So plenty of activity there. There are 5 things that are components of our strategy moving forward as well that are quite important. The first one is about spreading the success of tourism around the province. And there's a number of things that I just want to touch on here. Our brand campaign, Fill Your Heart with Ireland, was filmed here last year, and we've been up in Derry, Londonderry, we've been in Hillsborough Castle, we've been in Ballycastle and Rathlin Island, and this campaign is rolling out around the world during the course of 2020 as well. This is what it looks like.
Have you ever filled your heart? I mean, truly, filled it to the brim. There's a place where it's not just possible, it's a way of life. A place where experiences aren't just seen or heard, they're felt. Whether you're in a charming village with an old friend, or down at the beach making new ones. It's a place where you can feel your heart being filled every step of the way. With exhilaration, joy, adventure, discovery, and maybe a few surprises along the way. So get out there and fill your heart with the stuff that keeps it beating. Fill your heart with Ireland.
That's a 60-second clip, but our 30-second clip that we tested in France and America last week ranked in the top 3% of ads ever tested by Millward Brown. So that's a very good endorsement and very encouraging. Our twinning partnerships that we're launching over the coming 3 years will try to deepen the relationship between the regions of Northern Ireland and our marketplace overseas. Just 2 practical examples. Our team from Great Britain now will visit Derry, Londonderry during the course of 2020, but also they will be over at Celtic Connections in Glasgow in January next year. And also, for example, Armagh and the Mournes are going to link in with our team in France, and they'll be going out on regional roadshows because of the great showcase that really appeals to the French market, and more of that in the coming 3 years. We've run a very successful slow road campaign over in Europe and in several of our European markets, along with TomTom. That had 85,500 web visits in 2019, and there'll be more of that happening in Q2 of 2020. And this is really an effort to actually sort of slow people down, spend a few more overnights on the journey along the way. So that's, again, going to be promoting the Causeway coastal route through the course of next year. Thanks to our colleagues in Tourism Northern Ireland, we also have a great overseas publicity programme, and this is where we bring in several hundred journalists a year on really pre-programmed itineraries to showcase the best of what we have to offer here. Just some examples from Great Britain on golf, and also in Italy and also in Belgium. But if we were to go out and buy that publicity, it would cost us £113 million. So the value that Tourism Ireland brings to the table is that we have 22,000 international media in our database, and we can leverage that for the benefit of Northern Ireland. The second thing I want to touch on is season extension. So there are a number of things under this heading. The first is our City Breaks campaign. These are just some of the examples that we had during the course of 2019. For example, on the right-hand side, there were some campaigns we ran in Great Britain. There were 300 outdoor billboards, and they were seen by 15 million people in Great Britain. And again, this is the type of activity that we'll be pushing on City Breaks through the course of 2020. The festival programme is very important. So again, Tourism Northern Ireland involved in funding a lot of these, and we will work on the promotional side. Just some examples of those being Taste the Island, Derry Halloween, Belfast International Arts, the Home of St Patrick, and the Belfast Friendship Four. There are others too, but they're some of the key ones that we'll be highlighting through the course of the year under the season extension programme. We also had a great great summer this year. The Open was amazing. Here's just a clip that we did with Darren Clark on Sky Sports that was seen by 4 million people, worth about £2 million.
This year, Royal Portrush will be hosting the 140th Open, a place special to my heart on my home course. We look forward to welcoming you to this amazing event. To hear the story of Portrush and get more information on the world-class golf courses, attractions and globally renowned friendly welcome in Northern Ireland, head to skysports.com/golf.
So, I mean, in terms of legacy from the Open, we've got great relationships out in the international marketplace with the likes of the Golf Channel on NBC, where we could secure 18 million impressions, Golf Talk Canada, and also we'll have a 30 industry from the island of Ireland going over to the PGA show in Orlando in January 2020. Congratulations to everybody in Portstewart. It's fantastic, the Irish Open coming in 2021. And well done, by the way, down south to the guys in Adair Manor. We've got the Ryder Cup coming in 2026. So I think there's some really great years coming down the track for golf, and that'll leave a good sort of legacy from the Open that we saw this year. Not quite sure what more I can say about Game of Thrones. I mean, gosh, when this started back, 6-7 years ago, we never expected the association with tourism. But even just that logo up there is a license agreement that we have with HBO. It didn't cost us any money, but we were the first ones in. It could have been Spain, it could have been Croatia, it could have been Iceland, but we got there, and they allow us to use the term Northern Ireland Game of Thrones territory. We've had some great campaigns over the last number of years. Many of you have seen the Doors campaign that created a trail of 10 pubs and hotels around Northern Ireland. The Doors that tells the stories of series 7, I think it is, or 6, I should say. But the Glass of Thrones campaign has been fantastic for us through the course of 2019. And you'll see these around the city of Belfast. It's created a great tour, huge reaction to it, which is very positive. 29 million reach, which is really, really positive. Our tapestry campaign is incredible. The Bayou Tapestry, which again tells the story of 1066. Well, our one tells the story of the 8th series of Game of Thrones, and it was put alongside the tapestries, and thanks to our colleagues in National Museums, Northern Ireland. And here's a clip of what went on in Bayou during the course of this summer. Again, just a very small snippet of a longer video. But again, just thank you to everybody, Tourism Northern Ireland, National Museums, everybody that's been involved in making that project. It's very unique. We had over 150 international media that came to Bayou, which gave us incredible coverage. What did that convert into? Gosh, we had 1.5 million people came onto our Game of Thrones dedicated site on Ireland.com. And of those 1.5 million, 91% of them had never been onto our website before. We can tell all these things now, we know who you are. But so that's just showing you that Game of Thrones is bringing a new audience to Northern Ireland that wasn't there before. So we're looking forward next year. We've been talking already to Linen Mill Studios, and I think that's going to be another great legacy from the Game of Thrones story. So well done to everybody on that. So moving on from season extension, the third thing I want to talk about is who we're targeting. You've heard me talk about this before. Our key segments are the culturally curious, social energizers. In one sentence, culturally curious tend to be over the age of 45, tend to be post-family, tend to like the finer things in life, well-educated, spend more, stay longer. That's why they're the key target for us. Social energizers tend to be under the age of 35, tend to be pre-family, tend to like city breaks. Not quite as important as the culturally curious, but still a target audience for us. And within those two key segments, there are sub-segments as well, like golf, soft adventure, luxury, diaspora, LGBTI, that we'll be focusing on more over the coming 3 years to make sure we maximise every opportunity that we can. Fourth key thing is that we've been investing capital funds in our digital transformation project. And really, this is about getting the right message at the right time, on the right channel, to the right person. And next year is really about personalised marketing. And just an example of what people will probably see when they log in next year from abroad, just some examples of what you might see in terms of Northern Ireland, the ease of getting there, ease of booking. And it's important to say that it's all linked into the redevelopment of the Ireland.com website, which will relaunch in the third quarter of 2020. We had 23 million visitors into Ireland.com this year. That's up 15%. It's a great platform for us, and we expect to see that grow and grow. That's fully integrated with our social media between Facebook, Twitter, and websites across the globe. We have over 5 million followers. They all have an average of 220 friends each. If we can get everybody to like and share one thing on social media at once, it's an audience of 1 billion people around the world. That's a big platform. Of our Ireland.com website, 5 million of them go into industry websites, hopefully to book their holidays. But in the digital world, we are still living in a face-to-face business, and people are still important, and traditional sales platforms are important. So we'll still be out there doing old reliables like World Travel Market, like Flavours of Ireland. We'll be going to a few new ones this year. There are a couple of adventure shows on the east and west coast of the States, a few regional road shows over in France, and there'll be some more luxury opportunities as well. So stay tuned to industryopportunities.com. That's the website where you can see all the international opportunities. And I just would encourage more Northern Ireland industry to engage with us. You've done a great job over the last 3 years. We've really seen the numbers grow, and we want to see that continuing. We'll continue to work with carriers as well. Our air access picture is down 10% this winter, but we've got to keep on telling people how easy it is to get here and how good value it is, and point-to-point access is the best way to do that. Back in 2010, we made an approach to the authorities in Australia to see would they light the Opera House green. It was actually the 200th anniversary of the first reception for Irish expats in 1810 by the then Governor Lachlan Macquarie, and they did it for us. We didn't think we'd go on then 10 years later to have 455 global icons in 55 countries, everything from the Colosseum to the Burj Al Arab to the Empire State Building. And next year we're going to expand again, and we're going to launch what's known as Green Tuesday. So you all had Black Friday last week, forget about that. Black Friday is no good, right? Next year it's about Green Tuesday. But seriously, what this is about is really to convert the interest that there is in Ireland around that time into more business. So on the 17th of March and around that week, we are trending #1 in the world for all the right reasons. But how do we convert that into more business? So watch out for an announcement in January about how you can play your part in putting your best offers up to make good value out of the publicity around that time. Finally, I just say that collaboration is the name of the game. We can't do this on our own. We need to work in close collaboration with yourselves, the industry on the ground. You're the people that deliver on the promise that we make in the marketplace. We've got very good relationships with all the industry associations, John and his team in Tourism Northern Ireland, the Department for the Economy, NITA, etc. And we want to make sure that we keep that going. If we do keep that going, we feel that the ambition that we're setting out today is achievable, despite all the headwinds that are there. And just to remind you, it's a 15% target over the next 3 years, a 13% increase in visitors. There's a lot talked about sustainability at the moment, but just to put where Tourism Ireland sits in that sustainable conversation, our job really is about creating sustainable businesses. So what we outlined today is a strategy that has tried to push more businesses into the regions. It's about season extension when there's a lot of capacity around, and it's really generating enough business to keep people going all year round and really sustain businesses so they get passed on to the next generation and we create more jobs. That's the job that we're in. We were delighted that the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, which evaluates tourism, transport and marketing competitiveness every 2 years, has ranked Ireland 3rd in the globe out of 140 different countries. That's a great accolade for us all, and it's a tribute to all the work that we do. We used to be 11th, we came to 9th, we got to 5th, and now we're 3rd. So out of 140 countries, that's a very strong position to be. And that largely is down to the work that you're doing, thanks to the work that John and his team are doing. And when I say a special shout out like Joan, to my own teams in Tourism Ireland, you don't get to see all the work that they do, but I can assure you they make you very proud for everything that they do around the globe for Northern Ireland and indeed our island.